Hello, it's Amanda with ASAP and Complete Web Solutions, and I thought we'd start out the new year with a little video to talk about traffic to your website. What we're going to be talking about is images and how powerful image sharing is to drive traffic to your website. Now, with over 274 different factors that would cause your website to come up on the front page of Google, um, there are a lot of things you can't control. Nobody can control Google. Some of them they don't share. A lot of them we know. So we can only deal with the ones we know. We can also sit back and talk about consumers and how consumers find things. Image sharing is something that everybody can do pretty easily, doesn't take a lot of time, doesn't take any money, and we're going to talk about a case in point of a brand new site, brand new domain that just got launched that did nothing but over the last 2 weeks shared images on their Pinterest account. They've given me permission to talk about it, and I'm going to show you something real quick. So when we're talking about sharing images, with the technology that's out there, and we're using our our Streamline demo, but there are browser plugins. If you see this little one right here, that's a Pinterest plugin. And so you can certainly go to Chrome Web Store or whichever browser you use, Firefox plugins, extensions, they will be able to get you that for your browser. And so again, it's free and it will come up here in your bar up there, but it's a tool you should really use. And while you're talking on the phone and answering questions or eating your lunch or whatever, you could certainly be going over to your website and creating some image sharing. Now, if for automotive, I would certainly go into the categories like, winch and recovery. I would create well, at least on Instagram, not Instagram, I don't use Instagram because I'm not that cool. But on Pinterest, you can create your own books. I think they're called books. And so you can have winch and recovery. You can have bumpers. You can have things, title them correctly, and then when you come to one of your pictures, you hit save. It'll ask you which one to go to, and you can hit save, and it will not only share these images, and we're going to talk about how important that is, but it will also have a link from there coming back to your website. And linking into your website from outside sources is still a very powerful tool to indicate to the search engines that someone else is talking about your website. And your website is a popularity contest. So a lot of things go into it. Your titles, your images. So you always want to have your best image forward, right? I think consumers like to see what they're looking for. You definitely want to make sure that you have, like when you see me mouse over this, that your websites are set up with alt and image tags. So it's telling the search engines what that image is. Otherwise, that image name could just be JPEG 195, and that means nothing to anyone. So by itself, with your image and alt tags, you'll get picked up by the Google bots. And so, when you go into Google Images, I'm going to just show you real quick, and then we're going to get into some real interesting stats on this. So when we go into Google Images and we go red fluffy slippers. Oh, there's a spider. Slippers. So we see all these red fluffy slippers. Well, how did Google know where all the red fluffy slippers are? If we were to save this file, this down here, this does not show that says red fluffy slippers at all. They did that because the website and the alt and image tags and the title of the product had red fluffy slippers in it. And so if you want to be found, it's not about retitling your image. So this image didn't have to be red fluffy slippers 1 JPEG, but your website does need to have those image and alt tags. Usually they can be easily set to take the title of the part, which again is why titling is so important. But this is something anybody can do quickly, and I'm going to show you something. Hang on. And if you can't see this, these videos are done in high def, so I took the Google Analytics from a brand new site where 2 weeks ago they started to share their images in their Pinterest account, and they made them into multiple different books that pertain to different categories on their website. So traffic to a brand new website with no pay-per-click that the search engines are barely even starting to recognize, just from having the Pinterest account. 48% of the traffic over there, and they are getting sales, are coming from what they shared on Pinterest. And Bing, of course, is giving them the most organic. Google not so much yet. Google's very difficult, right? Bing is a little easier. Now Bing, I believe, is the default browser for if they're using Edge, which is a crappy browser. However, most people, that's downloaded onto their computers by default. So we don't want to ignore Bing. These people are, again, getting traffic from that, and it is clear that had they not shared on their Pinterest account or created that Pinterest account, that 48% of their traffic would not be happening. So I just wanted to share that with you guys, and I wanted to really talk this year. You know, it's very frustrating opening a website. You know there's money out there. What do? You spend your time, you spend your effort, you spend your money on a new website. At ASAP, we help you get that data so we can take that out of the equation, but it's still your responsibility to drive your business. A lot of people think they can't compete, and I'm going to show you some big people. Let's just talk about Jeep for a second, you know, and then we're going to talk about other e-commerce. But, you know, do you think that Jeep, nobody knows Jeep? Well, they do. But this is budgets, and this is not, you know, they spend hundreds of thousands of dollars, if not millions of dollars, to get people to their websites. And you don't have that. I get it. But there are other things you can do to compete. So we're going to go up here to SpyFu, and we're going to look at Amazon. Everyone's like, Amazon. Well, yeah, Amazon. They spend $32.7 million a month in pay-per-click. So, I mean, you know, and granted, they've got a lot of organic, but they're right behind it with their paid keywords. So, and this moves constantly, right? 403,000 just made it to the first page. 361,000 just fell off. It's frustrating. It's a full-time job. You got to pay attention to this. But there are things you can do with no knowledge whatsoever and no revenue whatsoever, to bring traffic to you. This is Target. Target spends 5.16 million, right? And again, their paid keywords are a little bit under their organic. It takes time for organic to work, and as you can see, you get some, you lose some. You get some, you lose some. And so it's a constant thing. You need to be looking at your website and doing what you can do with the budget you do have. eBay spends 5.53 million, and again, paid keywords, organic keywords. So these guys aren't just doing a lot of business because they got lucky. I mean, they're actually working on their websites, and you would think at this point in time, I would think at this point in time, which was this one, well, Jeep, Jeep spends $232,000 a month in pay-per-clicks. Now that's kind of odd, right? That Jeep would have to pay. There is only one Jeep. But they do because they need to keep that in the consumer's eyes. And just like everything else, they just made it 169 just made it to the first page. 179 fell off. We don't know what those were, right? Google makes it very hard in your analytics to actually find out what those organic keywords are. I think it's kind of poop of them to do that. Is that fun? I used poop. I didn't use the other word, so how proud are you of me? But what they're trying to do is make you have better websites, and they don't want you to, as web developers and webmasters, they don't want to give you all of it so you can see if there's any holes that you can take advantage of. But yeah, so you know, when you're out there and you're trying to get your website going, images are important. There are some image sharing sites. Let's go look. If you just use Google, man, anything you want to know is on Google. You have a question, how do I do this? How do I cook chicken on a toilet at midnight? I am betting you someone has written something about that. So what are the best image sharing sites? Let's go look. We'll get past that. Top most popular. Instagram. There's Flickr. PhotoBucket. You guys remember PhotoBucket? Aw. So go in. Create yourself some accounts. By sharing your images off your website, if you're doing it correctly, you're not only getting people who are looking on those, right? Again, you saw 48% of the traffic on this brand new site was coming from people who shopped by image first. They didn't want to go over to a website. They wanted to see the look of what they wanted to buy and then follow it back to the website. And so you may not be able to compete at this point in this level with the Amazons, right? And that's okay. There's so many different customers looking so many different ways. Again, think outside the box for 2019. Really get into it. If you just spent 5 minutes a day truly doing something to help market your website, you will end this year with increased sales. If you do nothing but look at your website and hope every day that Google has decided to send you more traffic, it's going to be one more year that, oh, my website maybe didn't do as well as I should have thought it did. If you're sharing on those image sharing sites, you can share everything you want to. If you are sharing on social media sites like Facebook, tone it down. Your Facebook followers don't want to see every image shared. So I would say Facebook for the ones that you want to really drive traffic back to. But the Pinterest, the Instagrams, the PhotoBuckets, share it all, man. Go through your categories one by one and start sharing those pictures, and making sure that your images on your website are tagged to the title or even to the category. You want to tag them to something so that those so Google and stuff picks up that they know what it is, because none of your images are going to be coming over optimized in their title, but they can be coming over optimized in your product title on that. Anyway, I really hope this helps. We're looking forward to a great 2019 on ASAP. We're constantly looking for ways to help you guys. You are the soldiers, you are the gladiators out there in the field, and we want to see you win. It's just you have to take some responsibility too, but it is kind of hard when you're not 100% sure what to do. So I hope the sharing of these images help you, and Happy New Year, and we'll talk to you soon.